Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Got a news story for you, and it's from the Washington Post, and it's about the huge economic and political problems that Venezuela is dealing with right now. Okay, markets expect Venezuela to default on its debt in the very near future. The country is basically bankrupt. That's not an easy thing to do when you have the largest oil reserves in the world, but Venezuela has managed it. How? Well, a combination of bad luck and worse policies. First step was when Hugo Chavez's socialist government started spending more money on the poor, with everything from 2-cent gasoline to free housing. No, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a good idea in general, but only as long as you actually, have the money to spend. And by 2005 or so, Venezuela didn't. Okay, the answer is that Chavez has turned the state-owned oil company from being professionally run to being barely run. People who knew what they were doing were replaced with people who were loyal to the regime. Profits came out, but no investment didn't go in. That last part was particularly bad because Venezuela's extra heavy crude needs to be blended or refined, either which is cheap before it can be sold. So Venezuela just hasn't been able to churn out as much oil as it used to without upgraded or even maintained infrastructure. Specifically, oil production fell 25% between 1999 and 2013. The rest is a familiar tale of fiscal woe. Even triple-digit oil prices, as Justin Fox points out, weren't enough to keep Venezuela out of the red when it was spending more on its people but producing less crude. So it did what all poorly run states do when money runs out. It printed some more. And by some, I mean a lot more. Then in turn became more a lots than you could count once oil started collapsing in mid-2014. The rest of all this money printing, as you can see below, is that Venezuela's currency has, by black market rates, lost 93% of its value in the past 2 years. He talks about how debauching the currency is actually the best way to destroy the socialist system, but that's incorrect. Because whenever the value of the dollar or the value of a currency collapses, then the economy collapses too, because people and businesses can't buy and sell the things that they need to just operate at a normal function, just on a daily, normal everyday procedure. So I'm not sure why I put that in there, but collapsing the currency is going to collapse the economy. Venezuela's government has tried to deny economic reality with price and currency controls. The idea was that it could stop inflation without having to stop printing money by telling businesses what they're allowed to charge, then give them dollars on cheap enough terms that they could actually afford to sell at those prices. The problem with that idea is that it's not profitable for unsubsidized companies to stock their shelves, and not profitable enough for subsidized ones to do so either, when they can just sell their dollars in the black market instead of using them to import things. And that's left Venezuela's supermarkets without enough food, its breweries without enough hops to make beer, and its factories without enough pulp to produce toilet paper. So it's just complete and utter disaster all over the place. And then another guy talked about how this nation just having food shortages, and just the governments aren't operating at normal, just everyday procedures like normal, because of course they're not getting any tax revenue. So a lot of the government workers are only working 1 or 2 days a week. Just a lot of things are getting shut down. They're having blackouts. They can't produce electricity all the time. And it's on foreignpolicy.com. And he talks about it's not just the economic situation they are. It's not just that the government doesn't have enough revenue because oil prices collapse. But it's also that the government has caused it because they implemented bad policies too. Because he talks about how the current president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, what they do is they jail their political opponents. Of course, there's the food shortages, and the Venezuelan government is struggling with dealing with murder, robbery, assault, and corruption. And then he also talks about how people are also dying in the hospitals because they don't have enough just care and medicine and other equipment to serve the people. Okay, so the problem is the authoritarianism of their president. because he talks about authoritarianism ruins countries because it destroying the liberties of people, crushes creativity and the entrepreneurial spirit, and hinders the application of everyone's talent and labor in building prosperity. Human flourishing, which should be the goal, is not possible when the state tries to run the economy, because economics is best understood as a human endeavor that encompasses the material as well as the spiritual. So that's just a great way to just wrap it up, is that the government, they made some bad policies, so then the economy started to crumble, and now it's collapsing, because this was in 2016. This is middle and late 2016. And then now, just what the government's still trying to do isn't really effective in trying to bolster up the economy and try to provide people with just the basic necessities of life. So we just gotta, well, the people actually of Venezuela really need to throw out their president right now, try to get in there. They need to try to build up a democratic government, or a socialist government that's actually going to help the people out, instead of just really fighting the people and just protecting the wealthy. Alright, so love you guys, and thanks for watching.